The true sense of this world is in the math of chances. Ampere was the Newton of electricity. In physical wisdom, a first essential step in the direction of learning any subject is to find principles of numerical reckoning and practicable styles for measuring some quality connected with it. The mind of man has complexed itself with numerous hard questions. Is space horizonless? And in what sense? Is the material world horizonless in extent? And are all places within that extent inversely full of matter? In every branch of knowledge the progress is commensurable to the quantum of data on which to make, and thus to the installation of carrying data. I suppose that the attempts to explain the abecedarian generalities of drugs in terms of commodity differently represent a failure of the imagination. The further we probe, the further we discover that the macrocosm is full of surprises. A glamorous field is produced and electric charge is in stir. The equations of light that govern reflection and refraction are the same equations that govern electrical and glamorous marvels. Algebra is the intellectual instrument which has been created for rendering clear the quantitative aspects of the world. Nature is always harmonious, though she feigns to breach her own laws. I don't believe that any type of religion should ever be introduced into the public seminaries of the United States. All the fine lores are innovated on relations between physical laws and laws of figures. The true system of the world, for which we're searching, must be harmonious with itself in every part. The electric field is defined as the force per unit charge at a point in space. Propositions are such like pussycats you mustn't call them, or they won't come. The experimental disquisition by which Ampere established the law of the mechanical action between electric currents is one of the most brilliant achievements in wisdom. Heat may be produced by the disunion of fluids moving among themselves, whether they're elastic or not. Science is innovated on the possession of knowledge. Religion on the exercise of faith. I suppose it's safe to say that no bone understands amount mechanics. The actuality of electromagnetic swells as similar wasn't proved by any single trial, but rather by a group of examinations which aimed at the explanation of known marvels on the base of the electrodynamic proposition of light. The only laws of matter are those that our minds must fabricate, and the only laws of mind are fabricated for it by matter. The mortal mind may concoct numerous plans for the advancement of mortal weal, but he who doesn't suppose along the lines of the practical will negotiate little. It's apparent that any knowledge of natural law would be useless, and the study of it innocuous, if our unborn conduct weren't to be told by it. Science isn't negative to religion, but is a help to it. Mathematics is the only true theories. The great thing in the world isn't so important to seek happiness as to earn peace and tone respect. Propositions aren't to be believed, but to be subordinated to inquiry and evidence. A proposition is commodity nothing believes, except the person who made it. And trial is commodity everybody believes, except the person who made it. The necessary knowledge of the laws of matter and of the forces of nature isn't acquired by study alone. It must be won by laborious compliances and repeated trials. There's important to support the view that it's clothes that wear us, and not we, them. We may make them take the mold of arm or bone, but they would mold our hearts, our smarts, our speeches to their relish. The alternate law of thermodynamics states that the total entropy of an isolated system can no way drop over time. Science is the knowledge of consequences, and dependence of one fact upon another. The energy of a system is constant. The energy can change from one form to another, but it cannot be created or destroyed. The true system of physical logic is to start from marvels and not from generalizations of what's possible. Science is nothing but trained and organized common sense. differing from the ultimate only as a stager may differ from a raw novitiate, and its styles differ from those of common sense only as far as the guardsman's cut and thrust differ from the manner in which a savage wields his club. There's nothing further practical than a good proposition. The laws of nature are but the fine studies of God. The electromagnetic field carries energy and instigation, and can ply forces on matter. The verity of a proposition is in your mind, not in the patch or snippet. Nature uses as little as possible of anything. The value of scientific knowledge is to be tested by its power to break concrete problems. We may find practical mileage in the study of molecular structures and movements which we cannot imitate. We've strong substantiation that light is an electromagnetic surge. Nature has but one plan of operation, always the same in the lowest effects as well as in the largest. And so frequently do we see the lowest millions named for use in nature's laboratories that we come habituated to this operation. And through the medium of the microscope we gain sapience into the internal working of her shops. Science is an edged tool, with which men play like children, and cut their own fritters. The marvels of matter, or chemistry, can only be understood by the help of mechanics. The mind of man is so formed that it's far more susceptible to falsehood than to verity. The fine faculty is a faculty of the mind which may be developed to a nearly unlimited extent by uninterrupted trouble applied to the result of fine problems. The macrocosm is a system which cannot have had any other origin than that which it now has, and which must have had an origin of the same kind with itself.